Oh, I didn't know if it was actually recording. Jeez. Anyway, it's been a minute since I've done a new episode of Nerds with Badges, and I guess time just kind of flies by because it was December. The next thing I know, it's the 28th or the 27th of February. So we're already like almost 2 months down in 2023, and it's just so much going on. And I think um, I've been trying to like decide what I wanted to talk about, but it just seems like there's always something happening at any given moment. Um, I know I probably talked before about Activision and Microsoft, the acquisition. Well, we still don't really know if it's going to actually happen because there's this back and forth between the FTC and Sony, and I mean, it really has been like a damn. I mean, I don't know if you out there that are watching it, if you've been keeping up with everything that's happening with this acquisition or the proposed acquisition. Because, like, okay, long story short, Microsoft wants to buy Activision, which, of course, is responsible for big franchises like Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Candy Crush, and some other stuff, and, the smaller studios within Activision. $68 billion Microsoft is going to drop on this deal. But Sony is all like, well, no, we can't let that happen because it's going to hurt consumers. It's going to hurt our business or whatever. So Sony has been going back and forth with the FTC, and it's just gotten really complicated. And Microsoft is all like, well, we're not going to make Call of Duty like exclusive. We're going to give you an agreement. We'll let you have it on your console for 10 years. And Sony's like, they don't want to do that. Nintendo has actually signed an agreement with Microsoft, and Valve said no because they really trust Microsoft and they don't need to sign a formal an agreement. And Google and Apple were expressing concern, and I think also Nvidia. I don't think Google has really said anything, but I know Nvidia and I guess um, damn it, Nvidia and damn it, the other company, my brain. But anyway, Nintendo signed the agreement, so it's really I'm happy that happened. So if it, I'm actually hoping that it does go through because I think Microsoft needs. I mean, ideally, Microsoft could just take some of that money and just develop their own original IPs because other than Halo and Forza, Gears of War, Flight Simulator, you know, the exclusives, Microsoft was doing so well with the 360. And when the Xbox One came along, it's like they just did everything wrong. And the saving grace, in my opinion, was backwards compatibility because Sony and Nintendo really wasn't trying to do that. For the longest, you would have to, if you got a new Sony system or a new Nintendo system, especially, you would have to rebuy those games again because they wouldn't work on the newer systems. But people finally started speaking out about these things. So, you know, so now, but I think Microsoft basically led that charge because they were letting you play a lot of your older games on the 360. I mean, well, games from the 360 and the original Xbox, they would actually work on the Xbox One via backwards compatibility. You just put the disc inside, and it would actually download. It would download a version of the game. I guess it was also a way of making sure that you actually had the game. Um, but that was a really good idea because if you want to play your old games, you don't have to go in your closet and like dig out your old collection and whatever. You can just play your old games on the new systems. And just so Microsoft did that for hundreds of games. I mean, they did it for a lot of games, and I think because they were so successful with that, I think other companies. She's some got in my eye. I think other companies kind of started because eventually it starts getting old having to rebuy games. Like they can make the games work on the newer consoles. I don't care what they say, they can do it. And the thing is, a lot of people started to illegally get these games offline because the companies weren't making them available. Or you'd have to spend like a gazillion dollars to buy these games again to try to track them down. So people will put them online, and then you can just play them with programs called emulators. So basically, the emulators, it's acting like your Super Nintendo or whatever older system that you're playing, and it's letting you play these games on your PC. And now you have like an explosion of these handheld systems, which are emulators, which allow you to play like older games. A lot of the older games, they don't take up hardly any space at all. And the hardware that's required to run these games, I mean, they can run on pretty much anything. I mean, literally. Uh, so it's good for people that have developed games and maybe the games are no longer available, and people can enjoy those games. They can see those games and play them. So a lot of games out there that would have just disappeared into limbo if it wasn't for emulations. Because now the games that they're available digitally online, even though it's a slippery slope, it's illegal, illegal. But again, and I know I've said this before, if you download something that you already own, you're not breaking a law. Um, but if you can't get the game anywhere, then the only option you have is to get it offline from some emulator. So the emulating programs, you download it, and then you install that emulating program on your device, and then you find the ROMs, I guess they call it, which are the actual games, and you have those emulators, and they let you play those games from Super Nintendo, Sega Dreamcast, old PlayStation. So it's a good idea. So there's a lot of people that like to play those older games, and the fact that you don't have to spend a lot of money to buy physical versions of games, but there are collectors. But I said all that to say that Microsoft really, they tapped into something with the backwards compatibility. So that actually helped them to stay afloat. But I think that somehow they lost touch with the consumer base. I don't know. It's a weird situation. A company like Microsoft with so much money and resources, but their lack of exclusives is just perplexing. But then I think they had people making weird decisions and saying things that were pissing off people, and just they were trying to market the Xbox One as a system that could do like everything. It was like a multimedia system, and games was like like it just seems like it was just an afterthought. And they had this Connect that you had to buy with the system, and nobody really utilized it to its potential. And the Xbox One system was in trouble for a long time. Only when they got rid of the Connect, and they started focusing more on the games. Um, I mean, I hate that Skype just kind of died. The Connect just kind of died. I mean, I still have it. I haven't used it in a long time, but every now and then, if I want to play my Xbox One, I can just say Xbox on, Xbox go to Netflix or whatever. I think it's a neat feature, and that Amazon just obviously had more success with that. Um, so buying Activision would be a good thing for Microsoft. I think it would give them a lot. I think that they could do something. They could do some different things with Call of Duty, taking it, maybe inject some freshness in it, because it has kind of stagnated in a way. I mean, I buy every Call of Duty game that comes out. I like it, even though the last game didn't have zombies in it. I don't think it had zombies in it, which was really the only main thing that I liked really mostly about Call of Duty was the zombie modes, and it didn't. This new game that came out did not have a zombie mode. So I don't know. They did introduce a new game, a new Call of Duty game, Warzone, which is a free to play games as a service type of thing, which is where the industry is going right now with these games. There's a lot of controversy right now around the new Suicide Squad game that's coming out, because it's going to be online only, even if you're playing a one-player game, which I hate companies doing this shit. I mean, pardon my French, but why the hell do I need to log in and create a damn account to play a single player game and no offline co-op? I mean, all these things are just like, why? I mean, it really it ruined Avengers in my opinion. I mean, I think that they could have made the Kamala Khan part of the game was awesome. They just should have built more on that. Gave us like some real story content. The whole multiplayer thing, I don't know. Maybe they should have just done like a Fortnite kind of model and let's just let people run around with powers and fight and stuff. I mean, like I think of games like Vampire the Masquerade, Blood Hunt, which really does a good job. I mean, I love playing that game. I used to play it a lot here at work, but they got firewalls here now because of some crap that was going on with some people doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, which caused problems. So now we don't. Now we have firewalls. I can't play Mario Kart. I can't play Smash Brothers. I can't play Vampire the Masquerade. I can't even use my Steam Deck here to access my cloud saves because the firewalls. I guess it blocks the cloud, and all this happened like literally like a week after I got my Steam Deck. I couldn't play Vampire the Masquerade here at work anymore. I was like, what the hell? So I don't know. I guess I can get a workaround. It would probably just be to get a hotspot or something, but it really sucks. That was like the thing that I was doing for probably a year and a half. I was like my ritual: come to work, play Vampire the Masquerade, just kind of relax, have a cup of coffee, and then just go to work. So I do security here. I don't know if I've said it before. I probably have, but I'm a security guard. I do security for the LGBT Center in Los Angeles. I've been with the company for 15 years. It pays my bills. Security, it's a very flexible type of industry to get into when you're in, if you're trying to get into the entertainment industry, especially because you can have like your schedule, or you can have a flexible schedule, or you can just work at night. Um, so I got into security years ago. Actually, one of my relatives told me about how people, actors and whatnot, maybe did security and had flexible schedules so they could do auditions, work on projects. People going to school, could take security, could do security and work at night and just do their homework. And so the it's really helped me a lot. I mean, I've been really blessed with this job, and working within the LGBT community has been it's been an adventure. It just, I mean, that I could just I could just see a really good TV show coming out of some of the stuff that I've experienced working security. Can be a very interesting industry to work in. But I guess if you work in a high rise and it's real quiet neighborhood and nothing happens, but this is not that kind. This is not that kind of a post. There's always something happening. This is like an HBO TV show. I mean, I'm not kidding, but it has been like any job. It has its pluses and minuses. Its things. I've had ups and downs working here, but for the most part, it has helped me to do a lot of things. As far as my aspirations for cinematography goes, like I'm a filmmaker. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I've done a lot of filming here at my job, utilizing the facilities to film different projects over the years, and so it's definitely contributed to my growth. Right now, I'm working on a pretty ambitious project. Maybe it might be too ambitious. I'll talk more about that later. But the name of the project is Satchwatch and the Mythology Sisterhood. Basic concept: Bigfoot teams up with a bunch of women bounty hunters that have superpowers to fight a very bad person doing very bad things. That's all I'm going to say. I'm doing some comic book related projects that kind of tie in to the film project. So we're supposed to go into production on the film in June or July, but the budget is like, I mean, I think the budget is just it's becoming more. Well, the budget is bigger than what I had anticipated. I mean, I guess the really big thing that I'm worried about right now is the Bigfoot, the actual Bigfoot costume, and I'm trying to cast a Native American actor as one of the main characters. I mean, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, he transforms into a human, so I'm looking to find a Native American actor to play their role, and I have not had basically any luck finding casting anyone, and then actually design the costume, because my version of Sasquatch does not look like the version of Sasquatch that you were probably used to seeing. He's got tattoos. He's got a mohawk. He wears kind of like a kind of has some armor on and stuff. So I just want to I want to do something different. I'm fascinated. I'm so fascinated by Bigfoot, cryptozoology in general. I mean, I love monsters, but I've always been fascinated with Bigfoot, Sasquatch ever since I was a kid. I remember going to the movies. I think my dad took me to a movie to see Bigfoot a long time ago, and I was able to find a movie on not Netflix, but YouTube. A few years ago, I found it on YouTube. Just remember some people being in a damn cabin and a damn hand coming through the window or something. But anyway, I just yeah. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on. So I think the rest of this year, that's gonna be like my life. The film, comic books. I definitely want to do Nerds with Badges. I have some ideas. I want to have some guests, and I have some ideas for what I want to do with this concept. Because the whole thing, Nerds with Badges, the concept that I came up with was people that work in security, law enforcement, military, that are into the things that I'm into: comic books, video games, pop culture, and we would talk about things, discuss stuff. I think it would definitely be more video game oriented than anything else. But there's other things involved in nerdism. I don't know if that's really a word. Uh, so some other things that I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to try to keep this short. I can be long winded sometimes, and I lose track of time. The Snyderverse is a big topic for discussion, and I have some thoughts about that. I did hear today or over the weekend that Netflix is interested in working with DC, which is going to be interesting because they already have Sandman, which I really love. I haven't finished it yet. I've got to get rid of some of these streaming apps that I have because I can't keep up with all these shows. My plan is to just get rid of everything except Netflix next month. That's my plan because I'm overwhelmed trying to keep up with all the shows. I have HBO. I'm watching The Last of Us. I caught up on the Titans. I gotta finish watching Young Justice. I'm watching Stargirl, trying to finish that. I think my membership actually expires tomorrow. I might need to renew it for one more month. But it was a big thing they did for Black Friday. They were giving like really low subscription prices, and I took advantage of that. It's like $1.99 a month for like 3 months. So there's rumors, I guess, about the Snyderverse maybe coming back on DC, since DC's working with Netflix. The Snyderverse coming on Netflix because DC's working with them. They may do some stuff. I guess people are hoping that we get a chance to see what Snyder wanted to do with the Justice League, even though I want to see it, but I'm kind of terrified because he even said it in his own words that it was a horror movie, and it really is. Some of the things that happen, Wonder Woman getting killed by Superman. I guess if you saw Snyder Cut, which I'm assuming that you did, at the end there's like these images. I know there's images of Wonder Woman being buried, some funeral ceremony. And I don't know, I guess Superman killed Aquaman. But I guess he pretty much killed everybody because he turns bad because of something that happens to Lois Lane, and Darkseid gets him to, and it just everything is all going to hell. And that's why at the end of the Snyder Cut, you see Batman, Joker, Mera, Flash, and Cyborg. I guess they're all working together. They're all on the run from, I guess, the whole world has been taken over by Darkseid and his people, and Superman shows up, and it just really looks all doom and gloom. Now, if you saw the Snyder Cut, and you know that, and if you saw the regular Justice League version that came out, there's a radical difference in how those stories unfolded. I mean, Wonder Woman cutting off Steppenwolf's head, just the Flash unleashing his full power to literally make time go backwards. I mean, the Snyder Cut was just incredible. I was so happy. I was disappointed that they didn't include the Green Lantern that they wanted. Even the Snyder sneaked and shot a scene, and Warner Brothers wouldn't let him put it in the movie. But it would have been nice to have. There were some things in the Snyder Cut that are just, the whole Martha Kent being Martian Manhunter in disguise. I mean, that was kind of weird. Uh, but it was nice to see Cyborg get some attention, to get more story. And I enjoyed it. It was 4 hours. It was a long movie. Honestly, didn't feel like it was that long to me. But I don't think I watched it all in one sitting, but I rarely do that with anything nowadays. But it would be good if DC could work with Netflix, because Disney pretty much took everything off of Netflix when they launched their own app. I don't know. I think they have a few things up there. If you really look hard, you can find some stuff, but they got rid of everything. They pretty much. Um, but it would be nice, to not have to go to Disney or HBO if I want to watch something Marvel or DC related. So yeah, that's. I know they're working with them, Warner Brothers. Well, HBO. Damn it, Warner Brothers is working with Netflix on us. They're bringing over a show from DC about two brothers who are ghosts that solve supernatural mysteries, I guess. So that will be I guess that's going to be like the launch of them doing like their own different universe, as opposed to what's going on in the regular DC universe. And what was the other thing that I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, Sony's State of Play, or their VR that they have right now. I feel like I want to be excited about VR. I bought the VR for PlayStation 4. It was such a pain to hook up. I hooked it up one time. I used it that one time, all those damn wires, and I never hooked it up again. And I tried to take it to GameStop to sell it, and they want to give me like $25, $15, and I was like, oh hell no. So I don't know. I may still sell it. My PlayStation 4 is not even working right now. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 works with the VR, the PlayStation 4 VR. But that was just a waste of money, man. I don't care about VR. I feel like I should, but I just don't. It's like 3D is nice, I guess. But I don't know. If it's, I guess it works for some people, but Sony is really putting a lot into VR, and I don't know. It just seems like that the price of admission is so high. So I don't know, man. I guess it's just gonna be one of those things. I just hope that they're able to give some really compelling content to get the mainstream people interested in it. Otherwise, I don't know. Excuse me. And the other thing that has been in the news lately is Harry Potter. Now, I pre-ordered the Hogwarts Legacy for my PC. I think I had originally pre-ordered it for my Xbox, but I decided to get it for my PC. And there was, the controversy because of some stuff that J.K. Rowling said, and I know a lot of people were mad at her. I know, man. It's like people have a right to their opinion. I mean, that's just the way I feel. And you got to be able to separate the art from the artist. Otherwise, you're just gonna be walking around mad at everybody at any given moment about something dumb that they said, or something that they said or did that you don't agree with, even if it was like 10 or 20 years ago. Because if you dig deep enough, you can pretty much find dirt on anybody. You can find something that you don't like that somebody did or said. And I mean, it's not like she said just burn everybody alive and they should all be destroyed. And I don't know. I think that people are overreacting. And I personally think that and I'm speaking from I'm speaking from my 2 cents, from being a part of the LGBT community and working in the LGBT community. We have more things to worry about, more important things to worry about. But I mean, collectively as a race, we have more people more things to worry about. We got it's just don't even get me started. But the game came out, and I like it. Uh, I was pleasantly surprised that there's a nice amount of action because I was thinking there was gonna be a lot of walking around and talking, and there is walking around and talking and solving puzzles and stuff, but there is a nice amount of action, and that is good. And I was also pleasantly surprised that we're not being bombarded with DLC stuff. I mean, I guess they can come out with stuff later. Um, it's not. I don't think it's online. I don't think there's any. I don't think it's online with the game. Um, Probably not. I guess if it were, I wouldn't even be able to play it here at work. So yeah, so I don't think there's any online components yet, but there probably will be some DLC later on down the line. I mean, it's money in the bank for them because the game is like selling really well, even though there was people were trying to cancel it. A lot of people were protesting against because of what J.K. Rowling said about. She said some stuff about transgender people. I'm not gonna get into all of it, but the game has been selling very well. I think that a lot of us really may have. I think people were torn because a lot of us. I read like the first three Harry Potter books, and I saw all the movies, and I have a Lego Harry Potter game. It was like three Lego Harry Potter games. I mean, so it was a part. It definitely was a defining part of some years of my life. So I think that you know it's kind of hard. It's almost like I guess I try another example. It's like I don't know if this is a really good example, but like I grew up listening to a lot of Michael Jackson music. A lot of people did, and all those things happened, the allegations and all this stuff, and so it's just like it's not exactly the same as somebody saying something, somebody doing something like that. If that in fact happened, but the general public, we may never know what really happened exactly because things have been turned around and misconstrued and things have been thrown out. So it's one of those weird things, separating the art from the artist. And I guess if the person was going around torching villages, and then it's like, okay, well, obviously, then you have, then, so, and it was real conclusive that they were doing this and they put out a successful book that everybody loves. Yeah, I mean, it kind of puts you in a difficult position. Um, so it's not. I don't know. I guess it's just a case by case basis. And like I said, there are things that are worth worrying about, and then there are things that are not worth worrying about. That's just so. Yeah. So I bought the game. I enjoyed the game, and I think that they struck gold. They caught lightning in a bottle with the game. I think they did a good job. It definitely lived up to the hype. And I hope that when the Xbox One version, the PlayStation 4 version, and the Switch version, when they come out later this year, I hope that they are actually as good because they've broken records with this game. I think 12 million or something already. So I can only imagine how many they would have sold if they released it for the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, and the Switch. These systems are older tech, especially the Switch, having trouble running some of these newer games because of the technology or the graphics. So it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, the Switch in the hands of really good developers, I've seen some magic happen. So a lot of times with Switch games, they do require more time for the developers to work on it. Even though we're getting into the realm where everything is cloud based now. I mean, you have games on the Switch that are running from the cloud, so they could have done that, but I guess they didn't want to go that route because a lot of people don't really have the internet bandwidth to play games through the cloud very well. I think that's why Google Stadia just didn't work. Anyway, I have about 20 minutes left before I go on my shift, so I want to try to get in some gaming. I think I want to play a little bit of it's a game, Callisto Protocol. Play a little bit of that. I will probably be back at some point with the review because I may go see Ant Man this week. I'm thinking about going to see Ant Man, and I might go see Creed. I'm on vacation next week, so I might go to Universal and check out the new Mario Super Nintendo Land they have over there. Last time I was there, it was still under construction, but they finally opened it up. So those are some things I will want to talk about when I come back with another episode of Nerds with Badges. But I just wanted to do an episode and uh, just not let too much time go without doing an episode because I just can't believe how fast. Sometimes it feels like time is just flying by. I was just laying in bed thinking, like, my God, it's just like it just feels like if there was like a button, like a rewind button, like I mean, if I had something like that, if I could just rewind time back or just make time slow down. Sometimes it feels like that happens sometimes. But anyway, it is 9:37. This is 9:37 on my computer, but it says 9:36 on the monitor here at my job. Go figure. Anyway, that is the episode of Nerds with Badges for now. I'll probably be back with another episode sometime later this week, which will be next month because today is the 27th and tomorrow's the 28th. Anyway, until the next time, everybody have a pleasant rest of February.